Dude, that was a bomb Sammy. No joke. No joking. No fooling. Oh, D. What am I gonna do with you? Good evening, everyone. We're here yet again on the porch. A place where, to be quite frank, I feel better doing these. It's kind of always been that way. What up, what up, what it do? It's already ground. I'm just packing a bowl here. Packing a nice bowl. Ooh. Hark the herald angels streaming, fra ra 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 ra. Excuse me. You finally got EQ99 to work? Cool, man. Well, roll up a character on green. That's the one that we play on. I just got Billy to listen to Saki on his stream. Oh, yeah? Did he rip on me? Was it cringe rap or what? Look who it is. It's Shatwisky. It's the Shabisky boy. He said it was dope. Nice. Evening, Paul. About to do my nightly book study of Ishmael with my mom. How are you? Doing good. Got a little fire going. I'd have to work till later tomorrow, so I can stay up tonight if I want. Although I gotta tell you, man, I'm getting tired pretty fucking early. Pretty early. Been getting sleepy. Just watched Dark City last night. I really liked it. Did you ever finish Twin Peaks: The Return? Nope, not yet. About to play some Cool Guy Among Us, huh? Well, can't really play that from out here, Shabisk, but next time I'll catch you for sure. Man's natural habitat is around the fire pit. Well, mine is, dude. I definitely feel like my natural habitat is out here around this fire pit. Pump sake in my car with some friends that don't watch DFF, and most of them want to know who that rapper is. Dude, it just needs to blow up. It needs to blow up so that me and Marshall can make $1 billion and be rap superstars, and I can drive a Rolls Royce and stuff. That's all I want. Thank you, Tucker, for the $5. I appreciate it. I'm not asking for much. I wanted to thank you for putting out so much content. It's kept me sane through my finals. Cool, man. I'm glad to hear that. My legs hurt, but my lips hurt real bad. How you doing, Marshall? You keeping that sake down or what? You doing okay? Paul, isn't it suspicious that 60% of Americans are Christian, yet 95% of presidents are Christians? Almost like they're plotting something, almost. Yeah. Tina, come get your ham. Tina, you idiot. Keeping it hella down? Good, good, good. Good to hear. Sour Diesel and White Widow shall help this pain. Yes, I think you're right about that. I've got papaya, personally. That's the strain that I'm hitting up today. Nice little indica strain. Good little evening time smoke. I wonder what percentage of actual atheist Christian presidents is. Oh, you mean like how many of them just pretend to be Christian? I think Obama for sure. I got Obama nailed. I don't think Obama believes in shit. The rest of them, though, like, I believe that George W. Bush believed in the whole Jesus thing. But that would be interesting if you could find out, like, which presidential candidates, like, say they believe in God or whatever, but they don't really.
Oh, you remember Obama got in trouble because his pastor was kind of controversial?
Well, his pastor said, "God damn America," or something.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about how, like, the chickens of terrorism are coming home to roost or whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, Obama got all gaffled up in that. Honestly, you think Obama was more radical when he was younger? Probably so. I mean, it's hard to say, though. Like, it's really hard to say whether or not he was just kind of elitist from the go, or if he had, like, you know, this, his younger self had this very strict kind of code that he wanted to enforce or whatever. I don't know. You agree with that pastor? I think a lot of people agreed with that pastor, which is probably why we reacted so violently to it, because we were like, hey, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to, like, say the truth and stuff. Come on, we're telling each other a big bunch of lies here. You got to participate in the big bunch of lies, man. Dude, I saw Trump today. He gave some guy the Freedom Medal of Honor or whatever. And he did that Trump thing where he just walks out of the room. He was like, thank you. And he just, like, left the dude standing there. It's like a little old man, and he's like, little old man's like,
It's a wrestler, too.
yeah, it's that wrestler guy. Yeah. Like an old, like, wrestling coach or whatever. He got, like, a Freedom Medal. And Trump got all pissed off about something. He got all butthurt about something. He just, like, walked out of the room. He's like, thank you. Bye. Left the poor old bastard just standing there. Should 18 plus incest be legal? I guess if both people are fixed. Should be legal if both people are fixed. Because, like, the problem with incest isn't like some like horrible fucking, like, curse that you bring down on yourself. It's just that you make horribly deformed children at a greater rate than the rest of the populace. So long as they're not, like, you know what I mean, creating children, I don't really care who fucks who. Consenting adults and all that. Yeah, you gotta get neutered first. Everyone should be fixed at this point. Yeah, you're probably right.
You gotta get the ear tip.
Yeah.
Incest, you gotta have the ear tip.
Yep. You gotta go get fixed and get your ear notched. She knows about the ear tips. Of course she does. We the animal lovers over here. Everyone who is fixed should stretch their ears. Oh, that'd be a good one. That'd be a good way to, like...
fertile people are left out.
Yeah, all the fertile people can't look cool. I like that. If you want to look cool, you gotta go get fixed. Then you can get your ears gauged or whatever. Did I say thank you for the little sticker, Terry Lynn? If not, thank you. I don't know what that is. Is that a little Finnick fox or something? Or a little Shiba Inu dog? I think it's a Shiba Inu dog. 3D print sermon, and you'll have a genetically perfect person and a delicious milk alternative. I don't know exactly what you're saying. Do you ever have earrings? I have them now. It's just hard to see them because they're behind beard and hair most of the time, but I have my ears gauged to a 0, and I want to stretch them more. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not totally sure. Hey, Paul, do you know of Carl Pilkington and his mental madness? Yes. I'm aware of Carl Pilkington, the hapless boob that Ricky Gervais had on his podcast to make fun of. He's fun. Whoa. I can smell it on the winds, and anarcho-primitivism rant is coming. Only if you guys take it there. You guys are driving this ship. People steer me down that road a lot. They like what I have to say about it. I can't help it. Just try and get Carl on DFF. No thanks. I think you're a little obsessed with Carl Pilkington, bro. That's the second Carl Pilkington quote or question thing in a row. It's a little too much Pilkington for me. I do love the Ann Prim rants, yeah. So I don't really know, because I don't follow like the whole kind of lefty politics sphere all that closely. How looked down upon are Ann Prim people on the left? Is that the result of the return to monkey meme? So they're very much frowned upon in the lefty sphere. Yeah. I kind of figures. I wonder one of these days if it'll cycle around and like my weird fucking ideas will be like mainstream, and I'll be able to feel what that feels like.
It's almost like ultimate libertarianism in a way.
Not really. I mean, it's maybe kind of. It's more of a critique of civilization as a whole.
But that's probably why it's looked down upon, is because it's libertarian adjacent or whatever.
I mean, I don't really see it that way. I don't really see libertarian adjacency in like really hard Ann Prim stuff, but I guess I could see it. They get a negative rep due to Ted Kaczynski. I mean, what? Like, here's the thing about Ted Kaczynski's manifesto. I mean, he's clearly a sick dude, but if you read his manifesto, it's an Ann Prim manifesto. It's got some ideas in it that I don't necessarily agree with, but overall it's well written and well thought out and makes a valid critique of industrialized civilization. I wouldn't say it's very libertarian because it goes against people's liberty to use world-killing technologies. Sure. I mean, it's definitely got like, well, because there's rewilders and then there's Ann Prims, right? A rewilder and an Ann Prim can be the same person, but sometimes rewilders are more like survivalist types. And that's definitely like, those are adjacent to like sovereign citizenry, which is adjacent to, you know what I mean, hard libertarianism. So I could see how that little inroad connection, because there are definitely like doomsday prepper types and survivalists, return to monkey types that are also, you know, very like this land is my land, it isn't your land. I got a shotgun and you ain't got one types. You know what I mean? Where did I learn that? We used to sing that in school. This land is my land, it isn't your land. I got a shotgun and you ain't got one. I'll blow your head off if you don't get off. This land is private property. Dude, how fucked up is it that I was singing that song in grade school?
Hey, it was the original version and not the bastardized version that I learned.
Well, yeah, I learned the original. That's why we sang the bastardized version. Because we learned this land is my land, isn't, or this land is your land. From California to the New York Island. I can't remember all this shit. We learned that shit. But dude, we turned that shit into fucking this land is my land that isn't your land. I got a shotgun and you ain't got one. Like, what?
Because you grew up around farmers.
America, dude. Could this prepper culture just be a symptom of our culture's death urge, like we know in our bones to prepare for the hard times? I mean, a lot of these prepper people are gonna die just like the rest. The people that have, like, here are the people that are gonna survive. Hard scrabble motherfuckers. People that have lived without electricity and running water due to poverty. People that know how to fucking hunt. People that know how to make a lean-to. People that know how to move with the seasons and shit. Survivalists, like people with actual survivalist training. The dude that just like bought a bunch of guns and stocked up on a bunch of food for him and his family is just a target in the apocalypse. Like, people are gonna, like, because one of the things about preppers is that a lot of them can't help but talk about how prepped they are. And it's just like,
What if those MRE websites are just cataloging everyone?
Yeah.
They're military meals that they're sold to the public, but they're really just gonna go gather them all up later.
yeah. That's a good point. Maybe so. Who knows? I wouldn't put it past them. Yeah, the guys that own all those MRE/prepper sites are the real preppers, and they're just cataloging all their caches of like guns and ammo and fucking MREs and food and blankets and shit. So they can come steal them. All their bonus buckets, yeah.
It's better to spread them out than have it all stored in one place.
I suppose. That's true. You gotta have caches all over it. You never know what's gonna get blown up and what isn't, you know? Holy shit, man. This is a fucking, wait a minute now. I think you might be onto some shit. It's 100% the amount of preppers on YouTube showing off their land and equipment. Oh yeah, dude. It's just like a big advertisement if the shit that you're prepping for goes down for people to come and steal your shit. Like, I got a whole rack of guns here and enough food to last me and my family for 6 years. It's like, shut up. Like, that's just like saying, like, there's a buffet at my house if shit goes south. And lots of guns, too, for you to come steal. It's like, fuck.
You only have 2 hands, so.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, like, say 10 people with guns show up on your property. It doesn't matter if you're, like, 2 people with a bunch of guns. Like, they're going to kill you. You might get 2 or 3 of them, but they're going to kill you, and they're going to take your guns and all your shit.
Unless you have automatons that also shoot your guns.
Bunch
of police robots.
You've been playing too much New Vegas is what's going on with that one. You're thinking New Vegas style now. I don't think we're ever going to get that far, unfortunately. I'd love if we had, like, auto police. All hail Kaiser. I have a mounted turret on my chimney, and I'm surrounded by a moat filled with a distracting trap bussy. Oh, so you got like a bunch of traps in a moat, and then you have a turret. Okay. Cool. Well, you're dead. Here, baby, you want me to scoot over? You can sit next to me. So you can...
No.
Smoke is just going to follow you, though. I'm just warning you. Why did trap becomes transphobic? I think it's because of the implication that trans people or NB people are out there trying to trap you into fucking them, which I'm sure it happens, but I think that's a misrepresentation of probably most trans and NB people. I think most of them are probably upfront about like that type of thing before, you know what I mean?
They're not doing it to fuck dudes. They're doing it because they don't feel healthy.
The crying game,
Body,
right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're not doing it in pursuit of some sexual fetish or whatever. Like, they're doing it so that they can feel like who they are, which is cool. And I think that the whole term trap just kind of insinuates that that's what most NB or trans people are doing. Secretiveness and malevolence, right? That's kind of what I was trying to say, but you put it more eloquently than me. Would DFF extend an olive branch to Steve Shives now that y'all basically agree on most things? Why? He's still boring. Like, what would the...
I think I haven't even thought about Steve Shives for like 3 years.
I know. Me neither. Here's some money, Paul. Also, I'm glad Ann Prims are widely frowned upon because they are delusional wackos who think the world was better off when everyone died at 30 and was ignorant about their world. Whoa. Did you just pay me $10 to trigger an Ann Prim rant from me? Because, man, is that a wild misrepresentation of anarcho-primitivism. Like, yeah, we just love the idea that people used to die younger back in the day from preventable diseases and such. That's what we want to go back to. I mean, there's a lot of misconceptions in that quote, assuming it's fucking... You know what I mean? Assuming it's not a troll quote. But that might be like the general sentiment about Ann Prims in the lefty sphere. And there's a lot of real negativity about our ancestors in this quote. Like, I use them as an example a lot, and I stole it from Derek Jensen, the Taliwa Indians who lived in the northeastern United States and Canada for somewhere between 10 and 20,000 years in harmony with their environment. They had a wide tract of land that they would travel with in the seasons. They never took what they didn't put back. And every time they'd come back to their old grounds for the to winter somewhere, the things that they left behind would have flourished in their absence. And this went on for 15,000 years or more.
And the age lifespan thing, that's an average.
Right.
Because a lot of babies died. Like, there was a lot of stillborns or whatever.
Right. There was a lot of like childbirth death. And a lot of stillborn babies, and a lot of babies that didn't survive the winter, and et cetera, which is horrible.
But that doesn't mean everyone croaked at 30.
Nor does it mean that everybody was just fucking, like, miserable. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder if you could go back and ask the Taliwa if they would trade their life for ours. Like, bring representatives from the Taliwa and let them live amongst us for a while, and then go back and explain to their people what's here, and see how many of the Taliwa would choose to come to this place. That, to me, would be the measure of how happy those people were. And you say that they lived in ignorance about their world, but they didn't. The Indians knew a profound amount about the land, how it worked, about animals, and how they should be hunted and cared for. about each other.
Really, the only ignorant thing they were of is other lands across the
Is that even ignorance when you're living in complete fucking harmony with your environment? See, that's the thing, is like people think like worldliness has brought some kind of smarts to our species. Then why is everybody so fucking stupid?
Yeah. It's like, when have you needed to know, like, where Lithuania is?
Like, that's the point. Is
You're
like
never
these
gonna
people.
go to Lithuania. You're never probably gonna talk to a Lithuanian. Like,
As the Toluwa were traveling around the northeastern United States and Canada 15,000 fucking years ago, in Europe and Africa, there were tribes of people doing the exact same thing, living in the same quote unquote ignorance of one another and doing nothing but benefiting from it. There was no war for fucking resources. There was no need to. The land provided what everybody needed. People talk about how like, oh yeah, but back then women were subjugated and stuff. There's something like 28 different abortifactants that were used by native and indigenous women.
there's abortion instructions in the Bible.
Right. And so it's like women back then would take like responsibility for when they had children. If the tribe already had too many children, too many mouths to feed, too many youngsters, then women would make the decision to terminate that pregnancy. And there were like 28 to 30 different ways that they would do it.
And they've been trying to make condoms for forever. Freaking
There were different
bladder condoms.
Yeah, there were bladder condoms and shit that they used that had efficacy better than just busting a nut raw, you know what I mean? So it's like these people were not as backwards as you might think, and in fact, I look around at what we've created out of the world, and I think we're the backwards ones because we're trampling all over everything that supports us. And if that's being a fucking wacko, then I guess I'm a fucking wacko then. Your nose never lies. Well, what do you want me to do, man? A dude paid me $10 and pooped on Anprims, and there's just no point. We've created comfort and it's breeding weakness. I mean, I don't know if I agree with that. That sounds a little bit like a certain guy with a skinny little mustache, dude. It's not necessarily a weakness. It's just the overarching culture has taught us to consume as much as we can. And that there is an infinite amount of generations of humanity that can enjoy that type of comfort. And an infinite amount of places for us to expand into as we grow and grow and grow, both to live on and to grow on. It's easier to call other wackos than to look around at the current state of society critically. Chinook and other PNW tribes had communal festivities at certain times of the year because of how fertile the Columbian and Willamette River was and still is for 10,000 some years. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, man. So it's just like, once again, the great failing that's pointed out in Ishmael comes back into play. The great lie that our culture tells us, the great lie that we all have to believe in order to keep perpetuating, is that eventually we're going to get our shit together and do something about all of this. Eventually our culture will produce some magical machine or some new technology or some new way of thinking that is going to heal the world and bring everything into stasis with itself so that we can exist here for 1,000,000 years or more and explore the stars together. But we're denuding the landscape of every resource at such a rapid pace that we're not going to last another 10,000 years. We're not going to last the lifespan of the Toluwa, who lived in complete and utter harmony with their land. They lived by the Klamath River, and they ate salmon out of the Klamath River for fucking 20,000 years, possibly 15. In Victorian times, you were your father's property. The marriage ceremony is literally the father giving the bride to her new husband or owner. Certain tribes of Native American Indians had a third gender. I can't remember the name of it.
Two-spirit.
Well, that's one of the way, but they had a whole, like, there were different ones in different tribes. And these people were not, like, ridiculed. They were given a place in the tribe that befitted their status in the tribe, just like everybody else.
I mean,
And so,
honestly, like trading women, you kind of had to not be incestuous.
well, I mean, there had to be some interplay between the fucking tribes, or otherwise your babies get sick and die. And so, yeah, maybe there's a better way to do it than trading women. You know what I mean? Maybe you send an envoy of 15, children every fucking couple of cycles or whatever the fuck to the other tribe, and they do the same. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, in the past, it was purely motivated by misogyny.
Right. Are you referring to the 1995 novel when you say Ishmael? I'm referring to Ishmael by Daniel Quinn. So I don't know if it was written in 95, but that's the novel I'm referring to, the one written by Daniel Quinn. Our phones come from Japan, our food comes from the Midwest, our lumber comes from the Netherlands, nothing comes from the place where we live. Yeah.
We have most of those things. Here.
Well, but that's the problem. If we started using it here, we would be out of it in a generation. So we have to, like, that's, Derek Jensen calls that exporting violence. In his Endgame talk, he says, he talks about how our culture is based on violence. And somebody in the audience raises their hand and says, wait a minute, there's no violence in my life. I don't live violently. I don't do violence. And then Derek Jensen talks about how we export it to the third world. So in order for us to live comfortably and relatively non-violently, people in the third world, the world over, from Africa to South America to Asia, to the Pacific Islands, are all exploited to the maximum so they get the violence that we don't wreak on ourselves. We don't put our children to work making Nike shoes. We put children down in South America to work making Nike shoes so our children can have a nice, peaceful existence. We export our violence. And we do this both literally, like directly, in the form of bombs and invasions, and I don't think I need to defend that at all. And we do it indirectly and economically through exploitation of child labor, slave labor, basically, indentured servitude, places where workers have absolutely no protections, places where workers are exposed to dangerous chemicals with no protections, and they go home with cancer and die young. All these people that bitch about Anprems dying, saying that people died fucking at 30 back in the Indian times, even if that were true, there are people doing that now so that we can sustain our fucking life. People dying of fucking just being completely crushed by a giant fucking thing that fell over at their work, or people dying of being exposed to toxic chemicals every day, or just overwork, trapped in a coal mine that wasn't fucking shored up properly, just overworked or starved to where they get sick and can't get well, and they die, and they die, and they die, and they die, and they die very, 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 very fucking young, so that you can have your Nikes and sit here and have lofty conversations about socialism and the working with the bourgeoisie in order to work against the bourgeoisie and shit. All those conversations cost lives, because the flip-flops your hippie ass is wearing were made in fucking South America by a child. You move 15 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Do, 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 do. What do you think that song's about? Happiness? A well-adjusted society? Would I ever do a DFF on anarcho-primitivism? Probably not, man. I don't know. I'd have to think of an angle on it, to be frank, that isn't just like presentation of my idea, you know? Because I do those rants here, you know, and I don't want to just copy-paste. They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a Union man or a Thug 4 JH player. Which side are you on, boys? Which side are you on? Factory farms alone are enough for me to say civilization needs to die. Well, it was farming, period, that created the canker sore that we're living in now. So not necessarily subsistence farming or basic planting, but we're talking about
agriculture that you can trade.
Mass agriculture, right? Agriculture where you produce more food, you have a surplus of food. And we got better and better and better at exploiting the land, and that gave us the ability to, instead of being nomadic, instead of moving with the seasons, so that the land that we denuded while we were living for the summer had a time to replenish itself. We started just planting there and growing like a big giant fucking cancer. And so it was farming in general, in specific, the more factory-like it gets, the worse it is, that ruined this planet. Led to an absolute boom in the human population, led to the stratification of the human population from tribes into countries, led to war, famine, disease, poverty, economic exploitation, death, 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 and death, and death.
And a lot of disease because animals.
Incredible disease. Incredible spread of disease between cultures that previously had no contact but now had reason to have contact because of commerce, so that their cities could grow bigger. And as they were trading sheepskins for goat's milk and woven blankets for fucking bushels of corn and shit, they were also trading fucking cholera, yellow fever. And from there, the world basically went to shit if you look at it through the eyes of any other species than human beings. And if you look at it through the eyes of the vast majority of human beings. But we all keep telling ourselves that there's some kind of political solution to that. Eventually, our culture is going to figure it out, and then we're going to be living in this beautiful green arcology that looks like something out of a fucking fantasy sci-fi novel. And, I just don't see, I don't see it happening. Paul, which invention do you think single-handedly changed the world the most, for better or worse? I think it goes back to the plow. The plow allowed for the beginnings of what is called monoculture. So the plow might be it. But it might also
Probably
just...
steel, honestly.
Yeah, it would also, really what made farming mass producible was modern metallurgy, as Amelia said. So we're talking like the alloy of taking copper and tin and making bronze, and then figuring out how to alloy and work steel, because that allowed for tools that could dig deeper and harder and for longer and would last longer. But yeah, the plow probably in general, just because it came about as a result of monoculture. Nobody living in a small family unit needs a plow in order to grow enough food to support that family unit. You need a plow if you're going to grow a field of corn that you hope to subsist on yourself and then sell for a profit somewhere else. Sell your surplus. do you think World War III would have happened by now if nukes were not invented? I think World War III is happening right now. I think that World War III is happening as a Cold War between China, the former Soviet Union, and the United States, and it's being fought mostly in Middle Eastern countries. It's also a war. It's a different kind of war because it's an economic war, but that doesn't make it any less World War III. Just because there isn't a hot war between these big places doesn't mean there isn't widespread suffering and death going on all over the fucking planet.
Like you said, it's still violence.
Cyber attacks, yeah, somebody mentioned too. I mean, that's a new thing that wasn't done back then. I mean, certainly there was espionage was a part of World War I, World War II. Espionage has changed where you can launch these mass attacks that'll shut down whole swaths of a country or spread misinformation. I mean, these things are going on right now, and people go like, when is World War III? It's like happening now. We've been in an unending conflict since 2001. And even before then was a constant kind of like spiking of conflict in the world. And then we would go and we'd come back, and we'd go and we'd send some troops, and then we'd leave a few token ones behind, and we come back. And then in 2001, with 9/11 as a casus belli, the United States decided to invade the fucking world, basically. I mean, it started to set up bases all over the goddamn fucking planet, in all the countries surrounding the countries they were targeting, poured massive amounts of military funding towards anti-government rebels to try and plant America-friendly governments around the countries that we wanted. It's all a land grab. Yeah, Mother Earth is crying, productivity bad, progress bad, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all before. All right, bro. I mean, like...
I think he's a fan and trolling at the same time.
Yeah, he might be fan trolling, but I mean, yeah, you know, like, people really do feel that way. And it's the hubris of it makes me really fucking sick to my stomach, because that person, whether he means it or not, is probably going to live and die and get to keep that fucking stupid attitude about himself, because it'll take another fucking 2 or 3 generations for things to really go to shit. So he's just kicking the can, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 yeah, the world is dying, blah, 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 fucking 1,000 species a year declared extinct, and probably something like 10,000 go extinct, blah, 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 less biodiversity, blah, 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 blah. I've heard it all before, bro, blah, 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 the destruction of fucking ecosystems, blah, 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 monoculture farming ruining the soil, blah, 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 mass die-offs of insects that are needed to pollinate, blah, 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 you know, the die-off of 90% of the fish in the ocean, blah, 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 I've heard it all before, bro, progress bad, bro, the acidification of the ocean, the death of the Great Barrier Reef, bro, blah, 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 I've heard it all before. It's like, you fucking blithe piece of shit. Give me another $10 and then go eat a dick.
He's the one that talked to you about the Indians, too.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like I said, it's good trolling if it's, you know, because there are people out there that fucking think that way. It's like, okay. Some people just live in their own bubbles. Most people live in their own bubbles. Our society kind of teaches us to do that. When I say our society, I mean American society in general, where there seems to have been a breakdown in the idea that it takes a village, not just to raise a child, but to be fucking... To be decent to one another. What you got there? Just finished Color Out of Space. Absolutely rocks. Yeah, we enjoyed it too, right? Mm-hmm. We had a good time watching that movie. Nick Cage, of course, was the main attraction. Mm-hmm. His crazy performance, but I enjoyed it.
I will defend National Treasure.
I like National. Nick Cage is fucking dope. He's made a bunch of shit that's really just, you can't even argue, but National Treasure's good too. I like National Treasure. It's dumb fun, you know what I mean? That feels smart. It doesn't, that's hard to pull off. It's not a map, it's a key. I love it, dude. I love fucking Nick Cage. He's so crazy.
The only solution: steal the Constitution.
Yep. And then use it as a bulletproof shield as you get away, too. I love that. And then he, like, gets away with it by pretending he's, like, he buys it at the gift shop. Remember that?
Yeah.
He takes it to the gift shop and he's got it in his pocket. And that lady's like, hey, are you going to pay for that?
Yeah.
They've got, like, replica constitutions and he has to count his pocket change and shit. It's so stupid, but it's a good movie. You know what I mean? It's like some special pair of glasses that they invented, and then when he finds them, it's just like 3D glasses, basically. It's just like there's a blue lens and a red lens, and it lets you see a secret message, and it's just like, you could have went to the movie theater and snagged a pair of those, you know what I mean? Why did you need the special glasses? Whatever. He does such schlock, but it could be nominated for an Oscar tomorrow. Man is a real... Oh, yeah, dude, he's a total talent. Like, people that shit on Nick Cage and say that he's a shitty actor, like, they just don't understand the dude. We did a really...
I think he's just a weird dude that likes goofy movies.
Yeah, I think it was one of my episodes. I did a kind of biographical episode on Nick Cage a couple years ago, probably.
No, when you first started talking to me.
Oh, was it? Right around the time you and I started talking. So, yeah, it would have been about a year and a half ago then. Year and 3/4. But yeah, we did this really cool Nick Cage review kind of thing, where we looked at his career and his acting methods and stuff. And dude is a total talent, man. A total fucking talent for sure. Hold on one second. Okay, there we go. Should be back now. Any moment. Raising Arizona. He's great in Raising Arizona. Leaving Las Vegas, of course, like one of the most gut-wrenching performances you'll ever see out of a person. And Mandy is just like a fucking every frame of painting masterpiece of a film. Like a mind-blowing modern retreading of old mythological tales. It's so fucking amazing and splashed with color and vibrancy and like, oh my god, dude, Mandy is a total fucking like must-see.
It's probably like on par with A Clockwork Orange, honestly, like with some of the absurdism and stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely gave like vibes of that. It was not Kubrickian. It didn't feel like a Stanley Kubrick movie, but it definitely tossed vibes of that same kind of like angle. Man, that movie was fucking crazy. So long since I've seen a movie that defied my expectations so hard. Color Out of Space was intense. Yeah, it definitely, like, as it builds, it really gets more and more intense. They did a good job of, like, keeping the suspense kind of building towards this really absurd ending. How did it end? Well, never mind. I don't want to spoil it for people, but I remember not really liking the ending all that much, but I usually don't like the ending of most movies.
It happened with Annihilation, too.
Yeah.
Ending just...
There was a lot in that movie that I really liked. Like, I thought Annihilation did a really good job of setting up just the strangeness of the situation. Like, all of a sudden, there's this area that you can't go in, and nobody ever comes back out of it, and all the weird mutations that happen in there. But, yeah, ultimately, the ending is just kind of poopy. I kind of wish Color Out of Space was a bit more intense, but it's still, yeah. I mean, they could have taken it a little farther. I agree with that, but, and some of the performances were a little, you know, like lowercase c cringe a little bit from time to time. Like there were some non-standout performances, but you know, whatever. It was what it was. I thought it was overall a good movie. I like Tommy Chong in it. I thought he was a good little side character. I understand all that, but you won't save anything on Earth by getting rid of a society that has cures for illnesses rather than letting those illnesses end you. Get out of here, dude. I mean, whatever, dude. Somehow humanity subsisted on the fucking planet for like 1,000,000 years, 250,000 years or so in our current form, and we did okay. You know what I mean? And your fucking excuses are your own. Like all that shit that I listed off to you, you can't just dismiss it by going like, yeah, I know about all that. And it's like, oh, well, then what are you gonna do about all that, dipshit? What's this culture gonna do about all that, dipshit? Like, what's the plan? Because I keep hearing the dream. The dream is that we get to explore space as a spacefaring species and live in harmony with one another. We learn how to eradicate disease and poverty and hunger eventually. We figure it out, right? The Star Trek universe is ours for the taking, but all I see us doing is raping the fucking planet. So when are we getting on that, bro? I'm guessing never. I doubt we'll kill all life, but we'll take it back to what was it, the Devonian extinction or whatever the fuck it was, the Great Dying, where it was just like most of what was left was algae and jellyfish. Do a little hard reset on life on this planet and see what happens. We have cures for human diseases while destroying literally everything in the environment. A rejection of deindustrialization is a human-centric and selfish. Well, that's at the heart of all of it. Like, that's at the heart of Ishmael, is this idea. Like, and I've walked you guys through it before, so I won't go through it again in super detail. But this idea that when we tell the story of existence, we're at the center of it. You know, the Big Bang, algae, fish crawls onto the land, fish becomes monkey, monkey becomes man. And then that's the end of history and the beginning of now. And we're just another fucking monkey, dude. We're just another species on this planet that happened to up jump and start taking way more than it needed. And we've killed most of the planet now. And we're going to continue to kill what's left. You're not the first doomer in history. I have faith. Well, good. You know, that and $5 will get you a Coke. The future is going to happen. SpaceX is currently at work to make it a reality. All right. All right, bro. Here we go, man. Yep. Well, why does the future look so much like the past? Why do we need SpaceX to figure out how to go back to the moon? Didn't we do that back in the 70s and late 60s and shit? Like, why are we stepping back to monkey if we're supposed to be making all this goddamn fucking progress? And at what cost? How many resources is it going to take for us to expand into space, and where are we going to get them other than right here off this planet? How much is left? How many more invasions is it worth? How many more clear cuts? How many more monoculture farms where there used to be fucking rainforest?
Like all those wasted spaceship parts on the fighter jets and shit.
Right? It's just, I don't know, dude. How many more? What's your fucking... That's a good question that usually people that are against the Ann Prem worldview can't really answer. It's like, how many? Like, at what point? What's the cutoff? 90% of fish in the ocean? Well, we missed that cutoff. What is it, 98%? You willing to sacrifice 98% of the ocean's biodiversity to get SpaceX onto the moon? How much further reduction of the Amazon rainforest? What's it worth? Even if we do create a society in space, 99% of people will never get there. It would be a fun little vacation for the elite. Well, that's short-term thinking. But you're probably right about that being about the extent of our space exploration. The amount of fucking resources that it would take to mine the moon, for example, which is our closest celestial body that we could land on and theoretically start to space mine in 200 years or whatever. The amount of material that we would need here on Earth is staggering to transport that shit back with our current fucking propulsion technology. You know that like 80% of the weight of what we send up right now is just fuel? Think about that. So you want to start mining the moon. All right, well, you got to make the machinery here, right? Sure. How are you going to get it there? Well, put it in a rocket. You realize that, like, space is at a premium on these fucking rockets, right? Because it takes so much fucking thrust to escape the gravity of the Earth. It's absurd, dude. It's absurd for you to be sitting here at this point in time watching what's happening around you, watching this fucking pandemic, watching all this fucking crazy shit happening, and talking to me about how, oh, we're about to fix it, man. You're just standing in the way of progress, bro. Why does progress look so much like the destruction of the fucking planet to me? Don't blame the rainforest plight on humanity's progress in general. It was a result of just one corporation's massive ego and greed. Oh, okay. So we're exempt from that corporate. They were aliens that ran that fucking corporation. So the rest of humanity gets to call themselves exempt for the destruction of the rainforest because we sat around and benefited from it. Eat a dick. You're gonna have to bring stronger fucking arguments than that, dude. I like that they always come with $5 though. That part is nice. Paul, I'm ignorant and I'm not gonna change. Help. I know. Yeah, dude. Keep the money flowing, dude. I'm fine with it. He'd be banned if not for the $5. I don't think so. I like this type of argument. Like he's at least making something that I can read and not talking nonsense and shit. I don't typically ban people like that. I ban people who ask stupid things like, "What drug you done? Paul, would you do an anal weed?" It kind of reminds me about hearing about a Dyson sphere, which gets huge amount of energy from a star, but then you learn about how entire planets would need to be mined out to make it possible, right? So it's like, at what cost? At what cost? It's just ridiculous. Seriously, I'm gonna pay you to argue with you, weird. I mean, whatever. Why aren't you voting with your dollar to prevent the destruction of the rainforest? You could at the very least not actively support suffering, right? By doing what? By moving into the woods and making a thatched roof hut? Silly. You're basically making a reworded version of the you criticize society, yet you live in it. It's like, you're gonna have to come harder than that, dude. What choice do I fucking have? Like, I'm not a dude that's buying up fucking massive amounts of shit, if that's what you're implying. Like, I'm not doing that. But yeah, are you telling me that like I should go live in one of the last few wild spaces and wait for it to be cut down, or wait for a park ranger to come and shoot me or take me off the fucking land by force? That's what you're telling me is the best use of my fucking time and ability right now? You criticize capitalism, yet you take donations. Space mining, as you're envisioning it, like taking asteroids or getting to another planet or getting to the moon and mining it out or whatever the fuck, which would be really stupid for us to do, by the way. But we'd do it if we could. But it would require basically the invention of a brand new system of propulsion. But bro, listen, if we just hollow out the entire planet to make a fleet of unsustainable metal prisons, we'll finally escape ourselves. Yeah, I know, Jason. I know. This is why, by the way, Ann Prims are maligned in the lefty sphere, because the lefty sphere's arguments against anarcho-primitivism, if I'm getting a good sampling of them now, then they're weak as shit. And so, of course, you're going to hate something that makes you look weak. Like, I don't know, man. Like, what's the best arguments? What are the hot arguments to destroy the anarcho-primitivist worldview, other than the return to monkey meme? Does this conversation even matter if majority of humans die from nuclear winter, pandemic, etc.? Yes. Yes, it does matter. It matters because the people that don't die in that war, pandemic, ecological collapse, etc., will be the people who it is upon to, quote unquote, rebuild societies, should they so choose. And hoping to spread these kinds of ideas far and wide is a good way to possibly ensure that these types of ideas are present among some of the people that are left, and that the lessons of this culture and how destructive and horrible it was are learned.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, babe. That's just cardboard. Cardboard burns like super hot, super fast. See? Pooped.
I wanted it to be warmer.
We could go Ann Prim, but billions would die until the human population became thin enough for Ann Prim to be sustainable. Oh no, billions of humans would die. You mean like the billions of fish that have died? I guess a human life is worth more than a fish life, huh? The billions of other species that have fucking disappeared off the planet. The billions of animals that die every fucking year due to loss of their environment. I guess their lives, right? A human life is worth what? A million? A billion? A billion lives of other species? How many lives is a single human life worth? How much biodiversity? How much acreage of forest is a single human life worth? I want cheap products. Yeah, me too, dude. Me gonna come up with a way to fucking like justify continuing to rape the planet because me want cheap products. Me gonna pretend that we're gonna have technological revolution that's never gonna come because we're gonna destroy the planet. So at what cost when the rainforest is chopped down? But oh well, about billions of people. What do you mean? Like, I didn't say, oh, well. I said, what's wrong with a human die-off? What's wrong with a reduction in the species to a sustainable fucking level? How's that any different than the reduction of fucking deer to a sustainable level? You know, we go out and kill deer Not out of a sense of malice, but because they get so out of control sometimes that they starve themselves.
Because we killed all the wolves.
Because we killed, right, because we killed all the wolves to protect our sheep. So there's nothing left to prey on the deer. So we've thrown that out of balance, and we have to go kill them en masse so that they don't just starve to death out in the forest and destroy the forest while they're at it. Transhumanism is greater than primitivism. Yeah, all right. So we're going to transhumanate into something that is going to what? Magically bring back biodiversity on the planet? Like, what's the end goal of transhumanism other than your cool camera eye and your bio arm that can pick up a big fucking car?
Or surviving low oxygen levels or whatever.
Right. Being able to breathe underwater for 10 hours due to your oxy-recycle lungs. Bleep bloop. You've been watching too many fucking movies, dipshit. We're never gonna get there. The woods are burning. I like transhumanism. Bleep bloop, bleep bloop. Doogity-doot, doogity-doot. I want to have camera eyes that can zoom in. Zoom, zoom. I want to have super strong legs that can run fast. Diggity, 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 diggity. Transhumanism for the win. At what cost? So how many indigenous people are going to disappear off the planet so you can have your cyber limb? How many children are going to mine coltan in Africa so that you can have your digital eye that can zoom in? You know what I mean? And what's going to happen when the natural resources, all of them finite, by the way, run out? Scritch, 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 scritch. There's going to be a bunch of busted-ass cyborgs like, remember the days when there was copper so we could fix these glitches? What a great future. 10 Man needs oil. Oil can. Sorry, no oil left, 10 Man. I'll piss on you. That might lube it up a little bit. Probably not enough, though. Sorry, no more oil, bro. Eventually, some dude, probably a Japanese guy, is going to invent the hyper light drive, and then we're all saved, and we're going to go to a new planet. It's like, shut up. Like, shut up, dude. That's the plot of fucking Star Trek, all right? Talk to me about reality right now. Some of those foreign ethnic folks you mentioned might just get electronic body parts too. Yeah, the ones that are rich because they have corporate interests with the West. The ones that are making them won't get them. Are you crazy? Yeah. The ones that are rich because they run the factories where the cyborg limbs are made by 10-year-old girls. Yeah, they'll get it. Yeah, you're right. Wall-E will clean up this planet and save humanity. Just you wait, Doomer. I know. It's coming any second now. Any day, Wall-E's gonna save us all. Any day, some teenage kid's invention is gonna remove all the fucking microplastic from the ocean. Any fucking day now, dude. It's right around the corner. All you got to do is go to gizmodo.com or some shit to know that it's right around the corner, man. The problem is it's been right around the corner since 2008 over there on gizmodo.com. And in the meantime, what, another fucking 8 or 10,000 species have been declared extinct?
Hey, your sex doll can talk to you now.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, unfortunately, the chip in that sex doll's head that lets it respond to you and shit and runs all its motor function has coltan in it, so it was mined by a little fucking 9-year-old African child standing in waist-deep water all day with a pickaxe. But hey, you know. Whoa, that's dark. Whoa, that's reality. The phone that I'm talking to you right now is filled with gold and coltan, both probably mined in Africa, and both probably touched by the hands of an underage person who was forced to mine for subsistence.
And put it together.
And put it together too. Assembled in a third world country. The components of it made in a third world country. The elemental minerals to make the components of it mined in a third world country. Hello? Anyone home, McFly? Just throw your phone away, Paul. Yeah. You live in society, yet you criticize it.
Well, I mean, getting rid of it now wouldn't unmine the...
Yeah. How did it was that's like the people that burned their Nikes when they got mad at the people at the kneeling demonstration thing. Yeah, dude. If I threw this phone into the fire and never had a cell phone again, it wouldn't put that coltan back in the ground in Africa, nor would it take that labor that child had to make it and put it back in the ground in Africa either. Dipshit. We're going to have a green revolution. Yeah, dude, it's coming any day now. You criticize the food industry, yet you eat food. Yo, I didn't think you'd be streaming. Now, glad I could drop by. Cool. Well, glad you're here too. Oh, that was classic. People burning their own property they paid a premium price for. Morons. Yeah. Total fucking idiots. Most of the coltan was not mined by children. Oh, so most of it wasn't mined by children, so that excuses it. Okay, fair enough. It was just mined by people who were treated like slaves in Africa. But they're at least 18 plus, so. Well, fuck, man, my conscience is soothed. I don't know about yours. I'll be right back. Oh, T. You're such a cute T.
Come out, but you still don't know that.
Dianor, you criticize dog food, yet you eat it. Pwned, bitch. T. You kicked Mom C. You kicked it. What were we talking about? How dare you point out Paul's hypocrisy? Yeah, that's hypocrisy. You got it, dude. You got it. You can't criticize civilization if you live in it. But how could I criticize civilization to anybody but myself if I didn't live in it? Sounds like a conundrum, but my brain too fucking small to figure that out. So here I am in Paul chat, me make another dumb comment. Me need to go back kindergarten. Paul, I never said go live in the woods. I said don't monetarily support suffering. Okay, so what? How am I monetarily supporting suffering? How can I not monetarily support suffering? Where can I live where I can ensure that the timber, keep in mind I have limited funds, right? So I'm not a super rich guy. So I can make sure that the timber is ethically sourced. I can make sure that the labor that goes into every electronic device in my home that I need, an oven, etc., was all ethically sourced. I can make sure that the land that I'm living on didn't used to belong to a Native American tribe. I can make sure that the sewers in the city near that land don't dump into a river somewhere, polluting it. How long does this list have to get before you are willing to admit that it's impossible for a human being to live in this country at any standard other than under an overpass in a cardboard box that's anything like sustainable? So why don't you take that stupid criticism and quit using it against people like me and come up with a new one? How would anarcho-primitivism prevent suffering, though? Well, let's see. If there were fewer humans on the planet, there would be less war. In fact, there would be really no need for war if there were fewer humans on the planet, especially not the kind of war that we prosecute now, dropping white phosphorus bombs on brown babies all over the fucking Middle East. So there would be a bunch of brown babies that had their skin still. There's a little suffering reduction for you. There would be no children working in factories. There would be no microplastics in the bodies of every fucking human being on the planet. I mean, the list fucking goes on. Read Phoebe's comment. In fact, I'll read it to you. It doesn't prevent suffering. It reduces it to a local scale that is emotionally and culturally manageable. Oh, shit. Don't start talking that sense up in here, Phoebe. This is a no-sense zone. You quit playing RuneScape? Well, congratulations. You're one step closer to being a normal human being. Yeah, but isn't that changing the goalpost? What's the goalpost here? You go ahead and put up the goalpost and I'll kick the fucking field goal. How's that? I'll let you establish the fucking goalpost and then I'll kick the field goal and then you'll tell me why I missed. It's an unbelievable paradox. Yeah, exactly. Prevent human suffering. There's nothing is going to prevent human suffering. You can reduce human suffering to an extent, but you cannot prevent human suffering. Every animal on the planet, as far as I know, suffers in its own way. We are an animal on this planet. We suffer. Psychologically, physically, we suffer. We always have. We still are. We suffered back in the old days, and we suffer now. This idea that we're somehow going to be floating on a pink cloud of total fucking bliss someday is ridiculous. I understand and support the anarchist side of this conversation, but I still resist the primitivist side at the same way I resist someone dictating mythology to me when I question something. It's interesting because it's mythology that you're spouting at me. mythology about a culture that's eventually going to fix it, mythology about a culture that's doing its best and eventually going to explore the stars and progress and all that being worth all these species. You're the one talking mythology. I'm just spitting facts. Space exploration is mythology. Some future fucking technology that's going to come and laser fix all this shit and bring back all the species and regrow all the fucking jungles and deacidify the oceans and deplastify the oceans is mythology. I'm spitting facts. 1,000 species have been declared fucking extinct in the last 10 years. Another 10,000, it's estimated, have gone extinct, and it'll take scientists a long time to survey to make sure that there are none left. That was in the last 10 years. Because it's easy to say general strike when you don't have a job you can strike from as a YouTuber. It's easy to say Amazon is killing everyone when you buy from Amazon. And it's easy to say you criticize society, but yet you live in it. You dumb fuck. I mean, come on. How many fucking different angles on this same stupid, defeated argument are you going to throw at me before I fucking poop you out of here? If we organize, we can eliminate it completely. We can become that intelligent through genetics. Okay, all right. Sounds like mythology to me. Guys, just agree with Paul. He can't take it anymore. Oh my God, dude. Oh my fucking God, bro. You got me, dude. Is hope mythology? No. Why would hope be mythology? Depends on what you're hoping for. Like if you're basing the entire rape of the planet by your culture on the hope that one day some magical machine is going to be invented to fix it all, then yeah, hope is mythology in that case. Pretty sure we'll burn ourselves out in a few hundred years and then Earth will rebalance. You're probably right about that. I've never heard you sound so defeated, almost like you're not. I know, dude. I'm just crushed. Absolutely crushed by the fucking high-level arguments being flung at me tonight by the clear fucking Harvard professors in this fucking chat. Jesus Christ, dude. You say Amazon bad, yet you order from Amazon. Let's try. What about AI? Well, we better give birth to it soon. Jeff Bezos is just an over-glorified postmaster. Yeah, he's the postmaster general of the world. How's AI going to solve anything? Well, the theory is, right? And it's a theory I myself have ascribed to from time to time. The theory is human beings, being flawed creatures, are incapable of not destroying the planet and not living in harmony with it, but that an AI would be able to crunch the numbers and make the decisions for us that would lead to us eventually, slowly but surely reducing our population to the point of homeostasis, and then finding ways of making green technologies that exist with nature. The old I dream of a cybernetic orchard filled with flowers humming like fans, and where deer walk amongst computers like a living arcology. Thank you, honey. Tea. Ooh-wee, it's tea. If we are able to feed all of humanity with farming and ranching, then what is the value of biodiversity? The fact that monoculture, oh my God, dude, what is the value of biodiversity? How do I even start? Okay. You realize that we exist in a chain, right? Not just a food chain, but a chain of cyclical compatibility with the things that are around us. And as we destroy biomes on this planet, we destroy the planet's ability to continue to produce the conditions in which our crops grow. Do you see what I'm saying? I'll read your comment here in a second, glorp, glorp. So once again, as we destroy species, as we denude the planet of resources, as we frack mountaintops away, as we pollute and dam up rivers, we remove the ability of the planet to resupply us with the natural resources that we need to continue to do those horrible things to the planet, and blah, 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 right? You can probably take it from there, right? Everything is connected. When something dies on the other side of the planet, when a biosphere or an ecosystem dies on the other side of the planet, it affects the entire planet. There's this really great, I'm just gonna make sure, I'm gonna hit glorp glorp's thing so it doesn't disappear. I'll leave it right where it is. There's this great, I can't remember what we were watching. It was some fucking crazy show where we found out how sandstorms in Africa, right, feed the Amazon rainforest with nutrients. Do you remember that shit?
Oh yeah. Don't remember what it was called exactly.
There was like this huge transfer of soil from Africa to the Amazon rainforest that was absolutely necessary in order for the Amazon to sustain itself, and it happens naturally, just through the, weather currents and all that shit, right? So that's an example of how, what I'm talking about here, how everything is connected, how all of these things are a delicate web, and if one of them dies, then it creates a chain reaction that kills others, and we're on this planet. We require these places in order to exploit them from your worldview, and we're hyper exploiting them to the point where there will be no more. 90% of the large fish in the ocean are gone. Probably over that now. Corporations lied to us, exploited our hopes and dreams. What's new? It's one thing to be hopeful for the future of humanity, but another thing to be entirely naive, to be duped by silver-tongued devils. You're right, glorp, glorp. Thank you for the $10, by the way, friend. Will self-replicating robots replace organic life? It could happen. I mean, I've heard the whole gray goo theory. This idea that we come up with these nanobots that are capable of not only repairing themselves, but creating themselves. We put them to work in society and they're like this miracle, but then all of a sudden they kind of go haywire and start mass self-replicating and chewing up all of the resources around them in order to feed their replication. And then all of a sudden, the earth is basically a ball of gray goo. What would they use to replicate? Raw materials from around them, I would assume, right? You have to.
They got little legs.
Right, they have little legs, and so they mine molecularly the brick and mortar and dirt and metal and wood around them in order to repurpose that and create another one and another one and another one, and then it happens exponentially until they've eaten everything. Do you think VR has the potential to be dangerously addictive? Dude, I don't know. I think it has the potential to be, because I can imagine it's hyper stimulating, but I have not tried it out. So I would feel like I would be like speaking out of turn a little bit if I spoke too harshly on it or whatever. But I would imagine, as immersive as it seems like it would be, and given the idea that it could be increased in complexity to where it was closer and closer to reality, that yeah, it has the potential to be insanely addictive.
I think they probably have a hard time with coding and making games work with it. Than...
Yeah, I haven't touched VR at all either. But yeah, you're right. I mean, like that's what's holding it back is just the computational power. Once we get over that hump, then VR has the potential to replace reality for a lot of people. I mean, just simple video games have done that. There are people that have died sitting in Korean fucking network cafes playing StarCraft. It's fucking insane. So you take that and you make it something that's a total sensory experience, I'm gonna put you guys in my pocket. So I gotta gather wood, yo. Some bark. Gotta get this fire going again. It's too cold out here. Too chilly. Some of these small boys. Small logs. All right, this will probably be okay. Oof. I would imagine. I think this big log that I threw on there was a bad idea in the end.
Ambitious.
Yeah. I mean, eventually he's going to burn down. But
He doesn't get too hot.
no, not enough fire going on there. It's burning the wrong way. So we're going to throw in some small boys here. See if we can reinvigorate this fire one last time before we give up on it for tonight. Some bark too, that should help.
You're just playing fast and dangerous with this wood, dude.
Huh?
You're only just getting gloves.
I know, we're almost done with it. Well, we'll need the gloves to chop it up. Yeah. What percentage chance do you give that we don't live in the deepest reality? Thanks for putting yourself out here. Everyone appreciates, no doubt. So you're talking about like what? Like, you're talking about like, we live in the third dimension and there being like a fourth dimension and a fifth dimension.
I think they mean simulation theory.
Oh, yeah, okay, so we're talking about simulation theory. So simulation theory, as I understand it, is, and I don't have a perfect understanding of it, but the idea that we create simulated universes now, they're rudimentary, but the idea that we have started to create this, coupled with the theory that there are possibly millions of civilizations spread out throughout the universe, makes the idea that of those millions of civilizations, maybe 1 or 2 million of them have created full-scale simulations of the universe, which means that there are more simulated universes than there are real universes. There's one real universe and possibly millions of simulated universes. And so the chance that we are living in the real universe is incredibly slim compared to the chance that we are living in one of the many simulated universes. There you go. That's my layman understanding of it. Define simulated, like a complete and utter reality simulation that's indistinguishable from reality. Just like what we're talking about, VR that's taken to the ultimate level, where it can not only simulate an entire planet, but all of the life on it and the thought processes of all of the beings on it.
The
textures, the smells, all of that being factored in. Nothing that you're spouting is mythology. I'm just saying I question being primitive because of what humanity is able to accomplish nowadays. Well, like, look, dude, I won't take, like, I'm not trying to be uncharitable to your position. I'm really not. And I agree, humanity has accomplished some pretty remarkable fucking things. But it always comes back to me to the at what cost argument. At what cost have we been remarkable? At the cost of a lot of the fucking planet's biodiversity. At the cost of a lot of different ecosystems. At the cost of a lot of sea ice. At the cost of rising sea levels. At the cost of ever-increasing storms. The largest typhoon ever recorded on the planet happened this year. Kind of happened under the radar. I tweeted about it. It hit the fucking Philippines or some shit. I can't remember exactly where it hit, but it was just some fucking insane. Like, it looked like something out of a movie. I was in the cone. I lived in. I spent most of 2020 in, as you guys know, New Orleans, Louisiana, and I was in the cone of eight named storms that were Cat 1 or above this year. That broke the record by 2. The record was set the year before when I was in the cone of 6. So this is the cost, right? The largest that was ever recorded. I can't remember the name of it because it had like a very Asian name, but it was a typhoon. It was a mega typhoon or a hyper typhoon or whatever they call it. You can go look it up. It happened this year. You got it. Care to venture a guess on the percentage chance we're in a sim? Well, I mean, if it's, I mean, 1,000,000 to 1 is what a lot of simulation theory people say. Now, there's no way to know exactly how many full simulations of the universe are out there from different civilizations.
Or even if there are civilizations.
Or really, yeah. I mean, even if there is the chance that we are the lonely sentient species in all of this emptiness. But just mathematically, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, whether or not life achieves sentience on other planets, that's different. But, like, there's almost certainly life on other planets in some other form. Whether or not that life is smart enough to create a simulation, that's up in the air. But assuming that the, you know, kind of Drake equation numbers are right, then there's possibly 1 billion civilizations out there and maybe millions of them at the spacefaring level or at a level that they could create entire galactic civilizations or simulations.
These sentient species are so smart that they don't go into civilization.
Right.
They live in harmony and they don't give a damn about what's out there.
I mean, that's totally fucking possible too. You know? Problem with simulation argument is that the simulated universes could have a limited size and can't be bigger than the parent universe. Cosmological natural selection makes more sense. Well, I mean, what about simulations within simulations, though? See, that's where simulation theory starts to get sticky, because if we are in a simulation, we're on the cusp of being able to create more and more simulated realities within our simulation. So we have to imagine that if there are 1 million simulated realities out there, or if a civilization could create one, maybe they've created thousands. So maybe one single civilization, instead of it just having one giant simulation of the universe, has 1 million of them, trying out different permutations of the laws of gravity and blah, 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 and watching different aspects of life and how it spreads throughout the universe. Maybe it's all a big video game to some of these civilizations. you know? And within those simulations, still more simulations, the probability starts to rack up at that point. So even if there are only 20 civilizations out there that have created a galactic simulation, within those galactic simulations, there are going to be further galactic simulations. It's exponential. So it could be far, far more than 1,000,000 to 1. It could be like 1,000,000,000 to 1. Yeah, maybe our universe is super small in comparison to the real universe. Maybe that's why it's full of so much emptiness. It's processing power, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, we wanted something big where there's lots of distance to see if this life can get across this big emptiness. Who knows? This is a lame simulation. I kind of gotta agree on that one. There's a lot of cool stuff in this simulation, but there's a lot of fucking lameness too.
Balls. Who would simulate balls?
Yeah, I know. Simulated balls. Ugh. Can you desimulate my balls? What if we set aside our personal human feelings and accepted that this is it and there is no simulation? I mean, that's pretty much what I do 99.99999% of the time when I'm not talking about simulation theory. Like, the great thing about simulation theory is that it really doesn't matter if it's true or not. Like, there's really no way for us to tell. You can't escape the simulation. Just like Super Mario can't jump out of a fucking video game, so there's really no point in worrying about it. We either are or we aren't, and it doesn't really...
All the religions of the world would have talked to the engineers by now.
Right? They would have figured out a way, but they haven't. If there are engineers and they're watching, they're probably laughing at all the religious people. And the rest of us, too. I would imagine it's pretty funny to watch what's going on down here. What if people with mental disorders are just simulated people with glitches? Then I'm one glitched motherfucker, dude. They fucked me up. Nah, man, a cool black man will give you a pill and you can escape the simulation. All right, well, when's Morpheus coming, dude? I know I'm fat, but I could be a kick-ass fucking Matrix guy. Give me a chance, Morpheus. Come on. I'm taking my dog and my cat out too, though. I'm just letting you know.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming out of the Matrix with me.
Oh boy. I don't know. Dynor could deal.
He'd deal. I'd jack him right back in and he'd come with me. He'd be a battle dog, dude. See how quickly he adapted to all this out here? Yeah. We put him inside, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Dude, as soon as he saw Dad like fucking pulling guns out of nowhere and doing backflips, he'd be like, oh, all right. He'd be doing them too. He'd be deadly. And Cricket, I don't even want to talk about Cricket. He'd be the ninja assassin, dude. Dino would provide the distraction and shit and dodge all the bullets, and then fucking Cricket come up behind him and just... Me and you would just have to watch, man. We wouldn't even have to participate. You could leave the simulation, but you have to leave everyone you've ever known because they're fake. Would you choose to stay or leave? I'd stay. There's no way, dude.
You can't bring anyone.
Yeah, like, you can't... It's not... I mean, that sucks. That obviously, I don't want to do that. But even then, like, let's say that I was a heartless bastard. And I was like, okay, I want to see what this real reality is like. Dude, the chances that I'm going into a quote-unquote real reality that doesn't know that it's simulated, and then I've just left my family and everything that I love and know, and the only place that I know is home, for nothing, to hop from one simulation to another. Maybe they created our simulation, and they think they're in the original universe, but it turns out they're just a simulated universe themselves, dude. You're like Cypher in the Matrix. You'd rather eat the steak and swallow the blue pill. Yeah, but like, I'd rather not take out a bunch of people on the way. Like, I don't want to work with the evil machines that are controlling us and then go back in. You know, I just want to stay in. If we are in a sim, it's like Mario trying to explore the Mushroom Kingdom, learn what we can, but we're stuck in the cart. Right. Exactly. It's like we have this is our Mushroom Kingdom, and we can jump around and fucking play around on it, and there are rules to our little game and shit, but we're ultimately captive to it if that's the case. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter. Like, your taxes are still due in the game. It's not like you can go like, oh, it's a simulation, so I don't have to do X, Y, or Z. It's like, no, unless you want to go to simulated prison for the rest of your life, you know what I mean? You got to follow the fucking rules of the game as they exist at the time you're playing. Well, you're not even really playing. You're just an NPC in it. You don't get a choice. If this is a simulation, then biodiversity doesn't matter. No, that's not true at all. If this is a simulation, we can still reduce the suffering of species within that simulation. We can still live within relative harmony within that simulation. Like I said, if it doesn't matter that we're in a simulation, then it matters what we do here. Like, I can't put my cigarette out in somebody's fucking eye if they walk up to me without punishment for it, just because I think it's a simulation. You know, so our actions here have consequences. Our strip mining of the world has consequences for us in the simulation.
Yeah, it's like an argument about souls. Like, there's only real life, not
Right.
your soul doesn't ascend if you leave the simulation.
No. Paul putting a cig out on someone's eye, dude. Yeah. He goes, what the fuck, man? I'm just like, just a simulation, bro. Don't be salty. Animals still suffer and die. The planet is still fucking warming due to our constant malfeasance on it. So really, it doesn't matter that we're in a simulation. What matters is the here and now. If this is a sim, we are failing based on any game I've ever played. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess so, but maybe that's the point of the sim. Maybe the point of the sim is to see how many of us burn out, how many of us fade away, how many of us achieve that kind of galactic reach. Simulate a universe, have it create a, certain amount of randomized life-bearing planets, seed those planets with life, let the simulation start. Like, maybe the Big Bang was just the simulation booting up. Like the Windows noise back in the boomer days. This is a simulation, so what? What are you going to do differently? How do you know you get to live if you die? How do you know there isn't consequences for your actions? Well, that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Is like, that's the point of simulation theory, is that, like, even if we knew for a fact we were in a simulation, it wouldn't matter. We'd still have to deal with the consequences of our actions in real time. But there's no way for us to know for a fact we're in a simulation. So... Yeah, it's fine. I don't know what... I think that might just be like some crud. No, just scraped it on some wood or something, probably. That'd be an awesome plot twist for those Matrix movies. The real world was actually the real world, and the human battery realm was the simulation. Yeah, see? Simulation means that there would be simulated consequences, right? But those simulated consequences, it doesn't matter that they're simulated. So if you put your hand in my fire pit right here, the simulated consequence of that is that your skin is going to burn. You're going to get fucking 4th degree burns all over your hand, and you might lose your hand in the process if you leave it off in there. And the simulated consequence of that is that you go through your life with a stump for the rest of your life. How is that different than a real consequence? How's that different if you were in the real universe and stuck your hand in my fire pit and burned it off? Simulation psychosis is kind of scary, or whatever it's called, when someone has an existential breakdown due to their belief. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what the name of that is. There's a particular, it's not necessarily that they live in a simulation, but that they believe that nobody around them is real, that everybody has been sent like as an agent of someone else, or replaced with someone else, right? Or that they've been replaced. There are people that believe that like they're not who they're supposed to be. So yeah, I don't think it always centers around the idea of a simulation, because of course the concept of a simulation is new to us as a species. And there were people, there's like medical journals documenting people believing this type of thing before there was ever even a concept of a simulated reality. So gang stalked, yeah. But it just goes to show you the nature, like how much of reality is your perception. And that really is, like, it's scary to some people, but to me it's just fucking fascinating, because each one of us perceives the world in a completely unique and different way. Some of us share the same delusions about reality. Some of us share the same ideas about reality. But in terms of what we see through our eyes and how our brain processes that information, we are entirely unique from one another.
There's no way to say that your red's my red.
Right. Your red might be my green, and my green might be your red. There's no way for us to know. There's no way to describe the elemental property of redness to you so that we can sync it up. Well, it's very red.
Or
It's
warm, you get the fire,
right.
Blue to you.
Right. I could be looking at the fire and seeing blue, but to me it's red. You know what I mean? Because that's what I think of as red. It's just fucking insane. So if that's the case, then perception is reality. We're already kind of living in a simulation even without the aliens. We see what our bodies can see about reality, and what we can't see, well, it exists around us.
Like optical illusions.
Well, there are whole spectrums of light that we can't see, whole spectrums of sound that we can't hear. Those things exist around us. We're just not perceiving them. So our consciousness is the tip of the iceberg in our processing of input too. It's amazing. In our dreams, we create entire worlds. Sort of puts waking as relatively drab. There's a cool movie about that called Waking Life. It's an animated film from the 90s. You should check out if you like that concept.
Someone got a job for the Patreon.
Got a what?
A job.
A job?
Job for the Patreon.
Oh, they work for Patreon?
No, to pay for your Patreon.
Oh. Cool. Yeah, immediately your first purchase with that first paycheck should be a Patreon subscription. I like this sim because I get to blow fat loads and snort the cocoa. All right, Jason. Good for you, buddy. You look super comfy. I am pretty comfy. Got myself a cozy little spot here. Got a nice little fire crackling over there. It's, sometimes the simulation can be aight. That's true. You ever listen to Alan Watts? On occasion, yeah. but I'm not super familiar. I think I've seen like one or two little blurbs of his talks and stuff. I get told I look like Alan Watts a lot, but I'm not up to speed. I don't think you have schizophrenia. You thinking something has a different color might actually be an eyesight disability. Well, there's that too. It's like how many people out there perceive color differently and don't know it. How many people out there, you know, it's just, it goes as deep as you want it to go. You want to make a cocoa? Oh yeah, dude, hot cocoa is the stuff. We still haven't got any fucking marshmallows to toast. That's absurd.
We need more cocoa. We need marshmallows.
We got to get marshmallows, graham crackers, and chocolate bars the next time we do a shop because we got to make s'mores, yo.
You want me to add that to our order?
I guess, yeah. We got to make s'mores. What's the point of having a nice little fire pit like this if you're not going to s'more it up? S'more it out. Scream and shout. Make s'moreos, yeah. Paul, I have a music suggestion because I know you like rap and I know you're very left-wing. Well, I tell you what, bro, pass it to me on Twitter because I'm not going to remember it. Alan Watts was the dude that every DJ mixes on top of some chill beats. I see. No, it's Alan Moore I get compared to, not Alan Watts. Like I look like Alan Moore, not Alan Watts. Sorry, I got my Allens mixed up. Could Windows XP support the simulation? Probably not.
I mean, it probably could if you like combined 1,000 of them, I guess.
So you'd have to have more than 1,000. Probably had to have 1 billion Windows XP machines to even get close to the simulation. Was never a fan of putting marshmallows in my cocoa. It just feels like you got soggy marshmallows in your cocoa. See, you're supposed to put just a few marshmallows in your cocoa, and your cocoa is supposed to be really hot. So when you stir it in, the marshmallows melt into the cocoa. If you just got like a big blob of half melted marshmallows on top of your cocoa, you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to let those marshmallows melt into the cocoa for the most part.
You get like the toasted marshmallows.
Yep. Yep. Let them marshmallows just melt right into that cocoa. That's the stuff right there. Twista versus Busta Rhymes. Who's the fastest rapper? I think Twista is probably faster, but I think Busta is better at like being intelligible while he's being fast. So it depends on how you rate that shit. Like Twista, he's super fast, but I can only understand probably like half the shit that he says. Whereas like Busta, I probably understand like 90% of the shit that he says. Yeah, I've used a drawing of Alan Moore, yeah. Hey, who doesn't like Busta? Busta Rhymes. You need to try British cocoa. American version of chocolate sucks. It's just sugar and not real chocolate. That sounds like saltiness to me, bro.
It's only if you want it to be fake chocolate. You have a choice.
Yeah.
It's America. Freedom.
Yeah, it's real to us, man. That's all that matters.
Just It's like you have a choice between disgusting canned cranberry sauce and real cranberry sauce.
Right? Woo!
Sorry.
Cardboard, please. Blowtorch. I've had like non-American chocolate before, dude. Believe it or not everything here is a Hershey bar. You know what I mean? I've had like actual like cacao chocolate and shit. And it's like, give me the Hershey bar, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I can appreciate the good stuff, but give me the Hershey bar. I'll eat that. Thank you. Gives me the Hershey squirts. Mediocre, yeah. Sweet, sweet mediocrity. That's what it's like to eat as an American, dude. Sweet, sweet, wonderful, beautiful mediocrity all the time.
Hey, there's some shit that ain't mediocre.
That's true. That's true. But I do like the mediocre shit as well. I have a soft spot for it.
Biscuits and gravy, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing mediocre about that. Mexican food is the only kind of food I could eat literally every day, dude. I'm in the same boat. Like, I think I could probably just eat from like 2 or 3 Mexican restaurants for the rest of my life every day, and I'd be fine.
Horchata.
Yeah, just a horchata a day keeps the doctor away, isn't that what they say? Well, if I turn into a burrito, then so be it. I'm ready to be a burrito, if that's my fate.
It's awesome being a burrito.
Yeah. Being all wrapped up, snug in your blanket. Heck yeah. Palrito. A palrito. I'm beyond colorblind, so maybe I'm missing certain pieces of other human perspectives. Have you ever seen anything in real time that made you question the barriers of current human experience? Well, yeah, but all of those times I was on psychedelics. But you see that my perception as reality thing is like, that's why I like psychedelics, because they allow me to see things in a different way. They allow me to see aspects of things that my brain normally locks out. Some of them very memorable, some of them unforgettable. We miss the perspective of many other animals too. No, that's true. I spend such a profound amount of my time looking at Dinor and going like, I wonder what the fuck he's thinking. Cricket too. Like, I wonder what really is going on. I mean, you can get a rudimentary idea sometimes what they like. Dinor's tail gets to wagging and he gets all grumbly and happy when you scratch his butt and pet him and stuff. Cricket purrs and gives you the nudges and rolls over on his back and stuff, and you can extrapolate a little bit of something from that they're enjoying themselves. But on the day-to-day, like how they perceive different events, like this move, like, what do they think happened? You know what I mean? We know we moved all the way across the fucking country. What do they think fucking happened? Well, you know what I mean? What do they think?
It's not like they were like seeing the road the whole time. They couldn't see over the window.
I mean, Dinor was aware. He was up and watching it. he could see a little bit of the cars going by and the landscape and stuff. So, and he freaked out when I got back in that truck. So I think he had some idea that we had traveled a long distance. But what do they think about it? What do they what do they think about what happened to the place where we used to live? You know, it's odd to think about for sure. Sorry, the camera was frozen because my battery warning came on.
Need your charger.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Probably won't keep it going for too long tonight, but I want to go a little longer than I've been going. Feeling pretty good still. I might have to change into a more warm jacket. I heard rumors that Ice-T has a big Man, what? Yeah, dude, monkey thinks deep. Monkey thinks hard. Hello there. Speaking of monkeys, there's a little monkey in a jacket. How you doing, buddy? We were just talking about you. We were just discussing your strange perspective on things. And what it all means, Dinor. You're a hot topic tonight. The people need to know. The people must know. The grass must grow. Well, we've got juice. Oh, yeah, this is great lighting, too. I'm nice and backlit, shadowy. My shadowy figure. Oh, thank you, honey. That's awesome. A blankie. Oh, yes. Yes. A blankie. A comfy blankie. How sweet. What a sweet wifey. She keeps me warm. Blankie time. Oh man, this is too cozy now.
Yeah.
I might just fall asleep right here on Highdeology. Comfy strim. Yep. Too comfy. Good night there, GS Esquire. You'd be doing a Pimp Monk. Oh, yeah, that's right. Pimp Monk passed the fuck out on the stream that one time. I think he took a bunch of Kratom and he was like...
Warm up Dad's toes, Steve.
Yeah, sit on my toes. So they don't get froze. There any UFOs out tonight? None that I can see, but I'll let you guys know. I got my eyes peeled. The truth is out there, dude. Do. About to go smoke a bowl. That's what I really need. I need to go in a sec and grab my flower, which I will do. And I need to grind up some weed and have another bowl. Baby, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do it. I'll go grab it.
You're so comfy.
I know, but you're like, now I feel bad. I feel bad because I'm so comfy. Now I'm having comfy guilt. gave me the comfy guilt. East side, west side, north side, south. Paul's breath is so bad, his butt's mad at his mouth. The fuck is wrong with you, dude? What the fuck is wrong with you, man? Oh, D. He's out there taking a poop. That's ignorant. What's ignorant? All right. In order for the ultimate comfy stream to happen, I'm going to leave the blanket here for now. I'm going to take you guys. Well, no, I'm just going to set you guys down. I'm going to go get my bud. Bring it out here. I'm going to have a bowl. And now I'm comfy some more.
Trying to get Dino to look at your phone and spoople them, but I was trying to get him to look at your phone and spoople them.
You got spooked by the phone.
I said I wanted him to spoople them.
Oh.
Sniff a bit.
Yeah, give him a mug, dude. Mug the phone. Mug him up. Oh. Oh, yeah. Comfy stream. Oh, D. Okay, all right. Okay, D. You gonna join me on the comfy stream. We're gonna be comfy boys together. You want some blankie? Oh, D. Here we go. You got some blankie now. You gotta come here. You gotta come here. You gotta let me hold you if you're gonna be in the lap.
Come on, mom's lap. Make daddy.
Oh, D. Oh, yeah. The dog, the myth, the legend. The dino. You want to let me hug you? Oh, thank you. Thank you for those kisses. Those are some nice kisses. Thank you. Yeah, he's got his little sweater on. Because it's cold. Scritches. Want some scritches? I'll give you scritches. Oh, thank you for the kisses. I appreciate it. Bet he has that cute little dog smell. Oh my God. I love his little dusty smell. He always smells a little bit dusty. And I love it. Is the tail wagging? Well, the tail is tucked underneath him. So he's very comfy right now. So no, the tail is not currently wagging. But he's a warm boy and he's a happy boy. Did you watch the Tom Green show in the 90s? I did. I did indeed. It smells a little bit like a campfire now, too. And a mountain dog now. Who has a smarter dog, you, TJ, or Scotty? I would say if I had to assess the overall intelligence level of all the dogs, Sal is probably the smartest. He's just too devious. Like all the other dogs are basically like normal dogs. They're like trying to get into stuff, but they don't get away with it. But Sal straight up he gets away with it. He makes like multi-stage plans and shit.
He doesn't bark either.
He kind of does, but
Like I saw him in the yard. He was chasing a squirrel the whole time. Dino was getting
he barks when people come to the door. Who's the toughest dog? Probably Yujiro, I would say. Even though he's an old man, I wouldn't want to go one-on-one with Yujiro for sure. He's still kicking, as far as I know, doing real well. Cutest Dinor. Of course. You need to discipline your dog, lol. Why don't you discipline your dog? Discipline your mom, too. Kind of dog is Yujiro? I think he's like a pit bull slash... Oh, my God.
Not husky, like Doberman.
No, Doberman. No, he's not a Doberman pinscher. He's a...
Kind of like the police dogs.
Yeah, the police... Like, what are they called, though? He's... I don't know. I can't remember. Scotty would know. German Shepherd, no. Rottweiler. That's it. He's a Rottweiler. So he's as far as I know, like a pit bull Rottweiler mix. So yeah, that's why he's toughest, even though he's an old man. Why do dogs only have floppy ears now?
They stopped cropping them.
Yeah, they stopped chopping off their ears to make that pointy thing. Yeah, he's a big dude. The Tajikifants, Scotists, and Paulites have broken off into 3 warring factions. Who comes out on top? I think you know. I think you know the answer. We allow the Tajikifants to have a false victory, and then while they're celebrating and drunk, we invade their camp and kill them all. Ever been able to train a cat? I meet one over the years. What? Oh, you mean like you met one, you met a trained cat? I've never trained a cat. No.
You kind of do. Enforce.
Sort of, but that's not like chasing him out when he's doing something he's not supposed to be doing is not training him. I don't think cats can be trained. They just do what they will. This dino is so sleepy. Yeah, he's done more training of me than I've trained him. What's the temp out here? I don't know. I know it froze last night. So I have no clue. Don't most people train cats to use litter?
It's kind of natural for them.
Yeah, I mean, you don't really train them so much as you put their poop place where they want it for them. Like, that's what they do. Yeah, they like to dig to poop, so you put a thing they can dig in, and they go in there and they poop. It's not really training.
And then you fix them, and then they don't really want to go in one place, so.
Yeah, well, Cricket does have ninja training, but that's cat training. You know what I mean? I didn't train that. Amelia didn't train that. He just learned that as a cat. He developed it on his own. Oh, Dee. You're so sweepy. Look at Sweepy D. He's so sweepy.
Keeping you warm, too.
Yeah, he is. We're sharing our body heat right now. Dang, Sweepy D. How old is Dynor? He'll turn 5 in January. He's a healthy mutt. He's a healthy mix of breeds. So he's a big old mutt. And mutts are typically pretty healthy. He's got Shih Tzu in him, but he doesn't have that like super short Shih Tzu snout problem. So he doesn't have breathing problems. He's got Cocker Spaniel in him, but he doesn't seem to have the ear problems that they get. Every time he gets checked out at the vet, they say his ears look real good. He's got a good mix. He's a healthy boy. I always say his weight is perfect. He gets lots of exercise, especially now. He's a country dog now. But yeah, he's a bona fide mutt. Want to get down? Go on. Oh. Did that survive? It did. Okay, we're fine. You're fine, D. We good. We good, bro. That was my bad. I should have moved the cord. You too cold? Yeah. Oh. False alarm. Had a minor vape drop situation, but otherwise we're good. That's why I bought the tough vape. So I drop shit. My dog is a mutt, and he's 17 years old. Yeah, dude. Sometimes dogs live a long time, man. You ever have one of those wearable Snuggie blankets? Nope. Never had a Snuggie. But I remember the infomercials for them. Your snake is supposed to live 20 or 30 years. Damn. No, TJ is not 7 feet tall. TJ's like 6'5" or so. 6'6", something like that. I met a 21-year-old dog once. It was a Yorkie, and it just slept all day. Well, yeah. Just like old people, they do the same thing. TJ was 20 feet tall. The only recorded dog was, the oldest recorded dog was like 34. Damn. That's what my elderly dog does. He sleeps and he eats. Well, yeah, I mean, like an old person. He's an old man. He's already done his work, man. Let him rest. Let him chill. Let him just sleep. Nothing wrong with that. I'm 6'1". I feel bad for parrots because they live to lengths that people can't handle. Dogs are ideal, really. I guess so. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this. Thank you for chilling with me. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.